Hey guys, it's Kelly. Just had a couple of old videos, and they're not old, but videos I found that I thought I would share. This is real quick. I needed to make some tissue paper, and I love to have some stenciled or painted tissue paper in my stash ready to use should I need it. And it looks, something like that. And that was just an example, just showing you here's what I'm making. I like it on black, and I like it on white tissue paper, and it's whatever your preference and whatever colors you want to use. This time I was doing some, browns and blacks and whites and but I mean the pinks and the all whatever color you would want to use and whatever stencils you would want to use. I just happen to be using leaves for some projects that I had in mind, so that's what I was making. So I just used my stencil, and I used the melted chocolate dilutions ink and some watered down white acrylic paint in a mini mister, and I just put it down and sprayed over it, and then use the negative right next to it because I will be able to use both of them. And you can just tear the tissue paper however you want to use it. But I love using this technique. It's super, super fast, and you'll always, you just dry it, and then you'll have it there to use should you need it to add to a project. So, and it's super easy. You just lay out, get your work space area and lay out the tissue paper. Choose your colors and your stencils, and it doesn't have to always be the same. You just switch it up, and you could use one big huge piece of tissue paper and do several different designs, but you might not want to mix those colors, because you know how it is when you spray. See how it oversprays there beyond. So and here I'm just making instead of the melted chocolate dilutions ink, because it was turning green when I was heating it. It was getting a green tint. I don't know why. It's probably because it was on the tissue paper. I just used a mini mister and made some brown paint spray. I like the way that the acrylic paint bubbles up. It just adds some cool wrinkling and some texture to the tissue paper that I personally like. But try whatever you want to try. Get to wherever you want to get for whatever color you want. And that's just, again, just the brown with the white, and then the negative right next to it. And I just blot it very lightly, and it always turns out nice. Just custom made tissue paper. And then you can actually take it, if you wanted to do a small stencil, you make tissue tape. Just like the Tim Holtz tissue tape, you can stamp on it, and I'll do a video on that too. There are some videos out there you can search, but I think I'm going to do a video on that. It's super, super quick. You just use some score tape and some tissue paper and whatever you want. Now this is using alcohol inks. This is one of my favorite techniques that I wanted to share. I wanted to show you how to do it. I have another video using leaves. These were die cuts that I cut out, and all of us have die cutting machines, you buy die cuts, etc. So I just cut those out on my Cricut. I thought I was going to put these in my configuration box that I did recently, and I wound up not liking it and wound up not using it. I used a few of them, a couple of them that I had done, but it just didn't turn out like I wanted. But I have these in my stash, and I will definitely use them, because they turned out really cool. So you just put the embossing ink on there, then you dip it in there, and you want a nice thick coat of the embossing powder on there. And then you just heat set it. And it only takes a second with that heat gun. And then if you miss any areas on there, because sometimes, it doesn't stick all over, just re-ink it with your embossing ink and put it back in there. So there it is, all embossed, and then get your alcohol inks out and start playing with your colors, whatever colors you want. I was going for the vintage brown colors because that was the mood I was in. That it was just the color tone of the projects I was doing. And I'm using all kinds of different colors. I could, there's some caramels in there, there's some currant colors in there, and you just play with your colors with your alcohol inks and find out what you like. I can tell you, but don't copy exactly. I mean, it's not that you don't need my permission, but I mean, get your own colors, your own styles that you like, and just play with it. You cannot go wrong with these alcohol inks and the embossing powder. You just keep reheating it, and you know, if you don't like the color that you have, add another color. If it's not dark enough, add some more color to it. And if it's too dark, then add some of the blending solution on there. So, and I am doing this video assuming that you know all those things already. I don't, you know, the blending solution is sold, you know, at all your local craft stores. You can also get it online. You can get the blending solution along with all these Tim Holtz alcohol inks, you know, from Ranger. So I'm just making a few of them, and they're turning out, you know, kind of like a real rich mahogany color. And that's the blending solution. And that lightens up that color and disperses the color a little bit. That's the gold mixative. I wanted to add a little bit of gold hint to it. The mixative inks, for those of you that do not know, are very, very concentrated. Just use a little of it. I used a little too much on that one, and because I had a little bit too much of the gold mixative in there, I wound up adding more color, and it offset it okay. But if you notice, I kind of keep reusing that one little puddle of ink because, you know, it's alcohol ink, so it does dry quickly. But if you want to reactivate it, just add a little bit of blending solution and a little bit more ink on there, and you'll waste a little bit less. I personally, it literally takes just drops of alcohol ink. The alcohol ink goes so far, and I'm just not afraid to use it, waste it, or anything. It's just drops of ink. So, but I kind of like how when the colors mix together, you get that one color that you're looking for that gives you that look. And I had it with that little puddle right there, so I kept reusing it with the different little die cuts that I was considering using. Just adding some more color. And see how it spreads around like that? That's from the blending solution is still on there, keeping it kind of wet. And there's more of the mixative. And this one turned out really gold, but I wanted this one to be a little bit more gold, so I added a little bit more of the mixative. But a couple dabs will do ya. And sometimes a squirt of water on there will really help kind of separate the inks and give it a little break. But very, very little water. So if you just have a mini mister with water, put a little squirt on there if it's getting too dark or getting too gummed up. And if you dab it in there and pull it up, it gets a really cool effect too. I've got other videos where I show this technique as well on tags. And you know, if you have the time to look at those, I can show you what that looks like when you put it down and just yank it up instead of swirling it around in the ink. It has a totally different effect. And then when you add water, it changes it entirely. But I'll say it again, what I love about this is it's never the same thing twice. You cannot, it is not possible to duplicate anything that you do with the alcohol ink and embossing powder. You can't duplicate it. It will never be exactly the same. I love that. Knowing that what you're working on is 100% unique. How do you beat that? And some of you might be thinking, oh my gosh, I do not. Look at that mess. That is a hot mess right there. But you'll see that it literally cleans up in seconds. There we go. I had some of my embossing powder get on there. Okay, so there's cleanup. 91% alcohol. I got mine at Target just because I was in a hurry and I happened to be there and I just grabbed it. Probably get it cheaper at Walmart. 91% is what you need. Pour some down there, wipe it up, you're done. It cleans up super easy. Way easier than paint or anything else. So it cleans up really fast. So there you go. I just wanted to show you those few things. I don't have any stills to show you, but thank you for watching and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.